Hi everyone, it's CJ, and I'm going to show you how I've put together a little flip book. This is not something new. Flip books have been around for, oh gosh, many years. In fact, back in the early 2001, 2002, I used to make these with my kids in the classroom. There are many ways to do these, and this is just one in which I'm going to show you that I did recently. So you can see here that I started off with this old calendar that was given to me. I set it out and just did a bunch of, wipe off painting on it, just like so. And what I'm going to work with today are these jumbo playing cards, just like this. You can get these at the dollar store for $1 whole. They're a nice size. It says they're 3.46 inches by 4.88 inches. And I'm going to see what we can come up with. So, here we go. Okay, so what I did was put down a fresh calendar page. I'll start again on making some great backgrounds. I used the other page that I showed for these. In fact, this one on there very nice. I just used my tape runner to attach them to these giant cards, and you can see here they all look super good. I love them. I had a little bit of this chalk ink around the edges. That's actually a very nice purple, but it shows up blue in the camera. Anyway, I added that to the edges, and then I went ahead and heat set it. I find that with the chalk inks, it's better to do that. Just a real quick heat set will keep it from smearing. On the back, these playing cards are real slick, and I have taken just an emery board, and what I'll do is I'll lay it on the edge of the table and take my emery board and just kind of go like this and like this a few times, and that will knock off a lot of that super shininess. You don't have to knock it all completely off, but the purpose is so that if you decide to attach something to it, it will stick a lot easier. Now at this point, what I want to do is I'm going to add a little bit of gesso, and this is the way I use my gesso. I have these little squirt bottles like this. I believe I got these at the dollar store too. A package of 2 I think was $1, but anyway, I will put my Mod Podge in here, I'll put my gesso in here, anything that I want to squirt out. And the reason for the gesso is it will go bad. If you put a dirty brush into your gesso container or your dirty fingers, there will come a point in which bacteria or fungus or whatever will start growing inside there, and it will stink and it will go bad. So I figure if I can just squirt out a little bit like this, I can keep that gesso for a long time. And I'm just going to come on here like this and just apply some to each of the cards. I'm not worried about covering it all up. It's just basically in case for in the future if I decide to add some paint to it. But actually I kind of like the background a little bit, but I'm just going to dull it down a little bit. Just like so. And then too, like if your gesso gets a little bit thick, you can always go in there and give it a quick spray, a very fine mist, and that will make it go ahead and spread a little bit better. So here we go. Anyway, this is where I'm at so far, and I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Now I don't personally enjoy sitting here and showing you each minute detail that I do. Like, you don't really need to see me glue on or tape on this to the card. you've done this before, and it's just something that I feel like I can spend my time better showing you something else. But anyway, we'll go ahead and see how this continues. Okay, the next thing I'm doing with my cards is I decided to go ahead and add something to the other side. I've got this on the side from the drop-down paper, and then I've got some things I added. Now, some of these things you'll see and recognize from a series that Kat Han is doing on Mixed Media Morsels, and she's doing a wonderful job on demonstrating some different ways to create backgrounds. So I decided to go ahead and incorporate that into this project. On this one, I have a box of just napkins, bits and pieces and things. So I went ahead and glued them to this. Just used my Mod Podge like this, squirted it on there, and then just applied them. Now, I did not try to flatten them out. They are crinkled, and I like this effect. I like the feeling, the texture of it, and I'm going to go back and trim this all off, and you get to see what that looks like. On this one, I did do the very light coat of paint over the top. I put a darker coat of paint that was thinned out and just sprinkled a little bit of alcohol on there. You get this nice effect. And then this is also one of the Kat Han demonstrations that she did. This is where she just did the strips. And see, this is the other side of the card. I'm going to go ahead and trim all this off. And then the last one that I like real well was just using the circles. I applied the different coats of paint, just blotted it on there, applied circles, and I'm going to come back and show you how this looks once it's touched up a bit and a little bit more Mod Podge put on there. Okay, so I started with my 4 cards. I glued the drop-down or wipe-off paper onto them. Then I went to the other side and I made different types of backgrounds. These are what they look like once they've been trimmed up. The napkin, you can see it's got a little bit of texture to it. I applied the Mod Podge, trimmed it up. Okay. This is where you just tear your strips and lay it down. I went at an angle. I thought that was a little more interesting. Added Mod Podge to it. And this one, the alcohol drip onto the paint. So looking at that, my first thought was, kind of looks like a giraffe. But now that's just me and my imagination. A little bit of Mod Podge. I always use the matte Mod Podge. Use it in very, very thin coats. That way it will not stick. And then here is the one with circles. So my next step is I'm going to connect these together. And I'm going to, I think I'll do this side first. I'm going to leave a space in there, approximately 1/16 of an inch. Excuse me. I'm going to apply just a very thin coat right here, like this, of Mod Podge, and I'm going to put a piece of washi tape down. Now I'm sure that this is kind of the faux washi tape. It's not the real stuff because I probably don't even own any of it. And I just put it down like this. Okay. You can see in there whether it's too close or not close enough. Just like this. And press it down. I'm going to check this side. Looks alright on this side. I going to do the same thing. I'm going to apply just a very thin layer of the Mod Podge. Get another strip of the tape, like so. Put that on there. Alright. Next I'm going to trim this up. I'll do the other cards and we'll fold it up and see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, so now at this point I've attached each of the sections with my tape like this, and as you can see, it can be folded many different ways. Fold it like that, so you just have to find which way is best for you. In looking at this, I really like this section a lot. I think I'm going to have that as my outer section. So let's do this right there like that. And then when it opens, and you can see how it hinged, opens real nice. That's because we left about a 1/16 of an inch in there. Okay? And then it will open like this. Now, the next step, I'm going to start adding things to this. I may add another flap that either folds up or folds down, folds out. I have a lot of ephemera that I'm going to possibly use. I've got these small, tiny envelopes. I've been in several envelope swaps, and we have exchanged envelopes. I've got a lot of these cut out butterflies, some punched pieces, pieces like this, more envelopes, got tags, doilies, different kinds of paper flowers, cards, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to just kind of sit and play with it a little bit. Decide just how I want it to go, you know, which direction I want it to be folding first. I kind of like that the best. Okay, so I'm going to go on from there, and the next step should see a finished project. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here it is. I added lots of little goodies to it. Got a doily on the front. Added a couple of flowers on top of that, and I added just because. Sometimes, well, most of the time, I feel like when you make something, it doesn't have to have a purpose. It doesn't have to be for a reason. And I made this just because. How am I going to use it? I don't know. It was just fun. So I'm going to take my little clip off here, and I'm going to open it up. I've added a couple of pieces of washi tape, and this is a wooden piece. And I like this just the way it was, so I didn't add anything to it. On this side, this is actually a little envelope. I've been in several envelope swaps, so I put that there, and got a tag there. This is a flattened penny, so I'm going to put that there, and a little bag, little tiny bag. And then here we can fold this down, add a little message if we want to. Okay, and then over here, and fold this up, and we can fold this out, and put a little tag in there or a little card. And then just fold it back together. And I'll put my clip back on there. And there it is. Now this is just one of many different ways that you can make these flip books. This is one I've shown in the past. This one's got a little more variety of flips to it, so let's see if I can do this so you can follow along. First, this one's going to fold this way, and this way, and this way. Okay? See, there's going to make a great big H here in just a second. Here's a little pocket. Okay, this is going to fold down. This is going to open up now. Oops, sorry. This is going to open up like this. And out. Okay, and once this is all open, you can see it kind of makes a big H. Okay, so then we just fold it all back together like so, and like so. If I flip it over, it's got a pocket there and a pocket here. And it can just all go together like that. Or like that. And this just makes another different little flip book. Sometimes you just have a flip book that has 3 folds. You may have 2 folds and then open it up and have many folds on the inside. Flip books are just a lot of fun. They've been around for a long time, so it's something I'd say, give it a try. There's no specific rules. No one says it has to have 3 folds. No one says it has to have 4 or however. Just have fun with it. Make up your own. Okay, there we go. Hope you enjoy this. Bye-bye.